Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Hellbender Vinyl. For those of you that don't know, Hellbender is a vinyl record pressing plant located right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, doing high quality, professional, top of the line record pressing, baby. We finally got one here. There aren't very many in the world, let alone the country, and to have one right under our nose is an insane resource. So if you are a musician looking to get some stuff pressed to wax, I highly recommend checking out the folks over at Hellbender. Tell them Sykes sent you. I've always wanted to say that. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Sit back, relax, and let's start the beats. We're doing it. Hello.
Hi.
We have Doll Trap
Yeah.
in the building. Make some noise for the internet.
Yeah. Woo! Internet. All right.
We did it, everyone.
Yes. So I know that we only have, is it 2/4 or 2/5 of the band with us today?
Yeah.
2/5 of the band with us today. If you want to just introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about the band, we'll get started then.
Sure. My name's Christina. I am the lead singer. I joined the band fourth.
Fourth, yeah.
Fourth.
4 out of 5.
Yeah. And then after Dawn came and is our last member to join.
Hi, I'm Don. I am the bass player, and I just moved to Pittsburgh in February. So I'm just joined this group not too long ago.
Welcome to the city.
Thanks. I love it here.
Hey, that's great. Where are you coming from?
In the middle of nowhere, Nevada.
Awesome. Okay.
A place Hunter S. Thompson called fit for nuclear testing.
Perfect. And Christina, have you been in Pittsburgh for a long time?
Yeah, I'm a Pittsburgh native, but I wouldn't say that to someone who lived in Pittsburgh. I grew up north of the city.
Okay.
So without the, the bounds. But I am new to the Pittsburgh music scene. I joined the group in January, actually.
Okay.
And they had been playing for a while and kind of was looking for someone, and things got interrupted with most people's plans with the pandemic. So, but I've been here doing school, different things like that. But I live in the South Hills. That's where we're based out of now. She lives in Troy Hill.
Yeah, no, I live right
which is right near here. So we're the whole point is we're all around different parts of the city, and that's it's being a quintet is already difficult, but we kind of make it work with all those differences.
Yeah, definitely. And Doll Trap, from my understanding and eardrum using to consume the sound that is available online at this given time, y'all are like an alternative indie rock, shoegazy type of band. I don't know if you have a particular genre you like to put on it.
We are, Christina once mentioned to me that we're like the Breakfast Club, and that every single one of us is a completely different human being. So I was told I was joining a punk band, and I got there, and it felt, to me, it's like 90s alt grunge.
Yeah.
I'm like, the drummer and I are both big Smashing Pumpkins fans, and so that's where I feel it lives. And then they tell me well, there's definitely shoegaze elements. And I'm like, what's shoegaze? And they're like, okay, so it's pedals. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Lush, dreamy soundscapes of distorted guitars.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
They do it without a lot of pedals too, like the old-fashioned way of just really sonic youthing your guitar right into the amp.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we do argue about the genre lightheartedly.
Yeah, because
it's we
no
don't
one
know.
thinks about it while they're writing it, right?
I know one of our bandmates, our guitarist Adam and Mark, they definitely get their influences from more punk, and when they're writing, and they're the guitar, so you can hear that there as well. And then my lyrics, I was coming in and hearing band names of bands I had never even heard before. So I had to kind of find some new inspiration for writing, but I've come into it and really, really enjoy it. So I've enlisted a lot of Feeble Little Horse kind of shoegaze, just grungy, that 90s. I had to go back and actually listen to some of the things like this and have found some new music because of all of them. So I don't know. I would say, yeah, distortion. Distorted guitars is our genre. Yeah.
That's perfect. I think that the dividing things into such crazy subgenres is it doesn't really work for me. I remember I'm like 62 years old, right? So I remember like going to like, CD stores. And when I would go to the CD store, there was like rock and then like the
Yeah.
stuff that wasn't rock.
Sometimes
So
there
I'm
was
just
an
like,
alternative section
yeah.
if it was like a really like music forward store, like
Sure.
Zia Records back home.
Yeah,
You have your rock, metal, alt.
Yeah. So it's like in that demographic, it's like I guess you'd be in like the alt rock
Yeah.
row of
That's where I'd put us.
CDs, but you can, pick it apart to death if
For
you
real.
really wanted to. So now it's interesting being in this is my first time talking to human beings. I'm really, really sorry. I'll get this. I'll get it. Okay.
You're doing amazingly.
Thank you. So it's an interesting perspective being here with 2/5 of a band and talking to the two newest members
Right.
of the band. So, just from your perspectives outside of this band, outside of Doll Trap, kind of get a little bit of a background in terms of your individual experiences as musicians prior to Doll Trap.
Sure.
I guess I've been around longer. I am also 600 years old.
Awesome.
My first recording studio was on reel-to-reel tape in the back of a warehouse in North Phoenix. But yeah, I've been playing since the 1900s. Grunge bands, punk bands in Phoenix. And I never know like when's the right time to admit to somebody that like I was in a new metal band.
Oh, you can immediately admit that to me. No problems here.
But mid-aughts Phoenix, there was a lot of new metal going on, and I was a part of that for a while. I like worked at a few studios as a session player. Then I moved to the middle of nowhere, Nevada for 15 years and wasn't in a band until I moved here.
Got it.
Yeah, I've been out for a while. I'm really enjoying being like a place with an actual scene and like people in the scene doing stuff for the scene. I'm so happy.
Yeah. The music community here is really, really great. It's strong across many different facets and subgenres, and it's nice to have a new friendly face in the community. So,
well, yeah.
Thanks for coming.
I brought a PA system. Let's go.
What about you, Christina?
Yeah, so I actually am very new to the music scene. I just in January made a New Year's resolution that I wanted to do that thing. I just was inspired by a lot of local bands in particular, and bands that were female led and just found their time later in life. Like they weren't doing it all the time. And so I felt like, okay, there is a way for me to kind of maybe squeeze my way in here. And I had heard through some friends and the Pittsburgh community, because we all know Pittsburgh is so small in that way that everybody somehow knows everybody. That it was getting better in the sense of people are starting to come out to shows and really support each other. And so it felt like a good time to support other people. And then somehow it was like, okay, I can do this. If they can do this, I can do this. And so I responded to an ad on Facebook and found the three dudes and met them, which, I called my mom beforehand and told her that plan. And obviously she had a bit of a problem with it. But I, turned the location on and everything like that. And it honestly, like you noted, it's very interesting that the two of us are here and they just give us a platform to talk. And
they're shy.
They are shy. And I think a lot of you would have seen them earlier if they weren't shy. And that's why I think we work so well as a quintet. And I know some people try to keep their groups, smaller because, democracy is hard. But in general, I think we all just have the strengths that balance each other out so well, which is really, really nice. So I've only played actually 2 shows recently, and just no one has been condescending about it. They've all been so supportive and just like helpful. Like I'll say things like, "What do you mean? I have to hear myself in the monitor?" And just it's a learning curve, and so it's been really exciting to have not just like 2, but literally 4 people, teaching me different things.
What were your experiences with singing and or songwriting prior to joining the band?
Sure. So I'm kind of like Vampire Weekend, where I'm like an English teacher by day. So I like to write and like to write poetry.
Yeah.
Actually from a teacher who had been like, you idiot, it's just songs. Like, stop presenting poetry, just write. And I was like, it's just songs. So that's kind of how I fell in love with songwriting. But as far as singing, actually was musical theater. I just did musical theater in like high school and throughout my college career. And I don't know, it was fun. But the thrill was over quick. And you made this big thing and you made this community, and then it would go away. Everyone knows in like theater, post like show depression is real.
That's true. Yeah, the thing I moved to Nevada to do was I ran a theater for a long time, did a lot of musical theater. And yeah, you can kind of get that. We have a band going, but then 3 months later, maybe some people come back for the next show.
Which obviously is yet to come. And hopefully, we already have like a nice like fan base of just like friends and very supportive people and other Pittsburgh bands who have been, don't gatekeep. There's no gatekeeping in Pittsburgh. Just nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing here is cool enough to try to warrant that sort of behavior. But I think that's what gives the city a lot of its genuine creative strengths, is that there is no reason to kind of fake peacock here. There's no reason to like, I don't know. There's just no social ladder to climb in terms of like, oh, we got to get on top of each other to get on these good bills and stuff like that. Everybody's it's an even playing field of, for the most part, level-headed, cool people that are just thankful to be able to do something in a cool community.
Yeah. And we played our first new show or like in Pittsburgh at like a space that is even completely DIY as well. And, that was my first experience really seeing the behind the scenes part of that. You come to the shows and support them, but you don't see the sound checks and the people coming in and out and literally dripping in sweat and the gear stuff. And it's, you've got, especially the people who've been doing this for so long, they forget how that looks to someone who hasn't done it and like how like intense it can be. And like, I can see how people could get burnt out and stuff. So I'm very impressed that I'm playing with people who've played as long as they've played. And I look out, because they've got lots of fun stuff written for me. And we're always writing, which is really nice too. And we never really stop because there's 5 of us.
So coming from this perspective of like, like songwriting, singing in a band being a new thing, like prior to this, like just experience with like the DIY scene in any realm, like is that something that you grew up with, or are you really new to like even those aspects of like underground music community stuff?
No. So I had the suburban Pittsburgh kid experience where I came to college in Pittsburgh and met a bunch of kids who went to the art schools.
Yeah.
And they dragged me to basements.
Oh, no.
I know.
They let you loose with the freaks.
I was with the gays and the days. We had a great time.
Yeah.
No, but I found my people. And so
Great.
I kind of took a little hiatus for a little bit with like my education and everything. But I think most of the shows we were going to had to be DIY because we weren't old enough to drink. So we had to figure that out. And I think, it was always interesting because I was like, I can't hear her. And now I'm like, wow, you can kind of hear the vocalist. Like, this is amazing. Like, you understand. You understand like the differences. And I think anybody knows, like, once you do something, you appreciate it a lot more as far as like a craft. Even just listening to music now, I'm like, wow, listen to that part in the back. It just like has made me more mindful of like music in general. Like, the listening
like once
experience.
you start recording layers and you kind of like suddenly you hear it in other people's music of like it sounded like a drum set before, now it sounds like a drum set in a room now that I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a cool way of like learning to appreciate music in a further dimension, like the process of the art, which is what I always liked.
Yeah.
It's been frustrating sometimes. I'll come to Dawn and be like, what is this noise I'm hearing in this it's like, but and she's like, just show me, because it's like I don't know. I don't even know what instrument it is, and so that's been tough as well. Sometimes like learning limitations and like, oh, that costs money, or things like that, or that's an effect. So it is. It's so much more complex than I ever thought.
I mean, it's, for me and Dawn, I imagine as well, this has been kind of like a lifetime of learning, like bit by bit,
Oh, yeah.
day by day, for 72 billion years.
Uh-huh.
Just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, it's just going to keep getting bigger. That's going to be the bit. But it's interesting to have that XY'd or yin yanged or mac and cheesed with somebody that is just newer to all of this. And I imagine
she's a dream.
I would like it just from the perspective of having energy that is not, and this, I'm not saying this about anybody else in the realm, but Dawn, maybe you can understand where I'm going to come from with this, in terms of as you get older and you continue to work with people in different creative aspects, it's really hard to not find people that haven't been somewhat jaded or burned out in some sort of a way. And with Christina, it feels like you have this, even though you're not, young, there's like you're new to so much of this that you have this, an ignorance is bliss sort of approach.
No, I think
she doesn't know. She doesn't know when she's doing something that's supposed to be hard. And it's really I don't want to tell you this, but the fact that we just start playing a song and then like a day later we look to you and say, all right, you got words for it? You ready to sing it? And then you do. That's wild. Nobody writes a song that quick. And then you just, without ever having heard yourself do it, we don't record it. You just sit there and listen to us and then write a song and then sing it. And then that's the final version.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's being the youngest of 4 girls, and I just couldn't get in words, so I just had to make up songs to myself in the back of the car, But yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think all of us will sell ourselves short sometimes, but I think that is another reason why the people who have been in the scene for a while and other bandmates, were kind of hesitant to come back out after the pandemic shut things down. I think that they were worried, is there a community there still? And then at our first show, they were just, everybody kind of somehow knew each other. And I was like, see, it's Pittsburgh. Everybody knows each other. And so being new and being youthful, coming in, at first it felt like that might be a challenge because I wasn't sure how that'd be perceived, but it's been received very nicely, and people seem excited that I'm excited. So that's refreshing. And I think, having new experiences helps them maybe relive some of it.
Well, and it's nice that you're just actively having fun while doing it. That's the refreshing part of we're going to shows of other people and we're posting videos of their stuff, and we're not doing it in any kind of jaded way, other than we're at that show and we really liked what we saw and we wanted to share it. And just this way of looking at social media it's not a burden. That's lovely.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
But just actively, trying to contribute it back to the scene and pay it forward to other people, and just here for a good time. And that's, I think, more important when it comes to putting on shows. Is you can have all of your art and all of your angst in the music, but if you're putting on a good time, people are going to want to go to more of your shows.
Sure. Was it the put out the energy that you wish to receive, or be the change you want to see in the world, or whatever inspirational Instagram meme you want to quote.
I mean, you could
whatever
be,
fortune cookie bullshit you want to say.
Don't get me wrong, I've been in metal bands. You can be on stage and you can be mad and angsty, but people that came to your show want to go home saying that was fun.
Yeah,
because that's how you get them to come to your next show.
No, I think that there is the type of fun that you are talking about, the type of community interaction, fan interaction, audience interaction. It's sort of an unspoken thing. It's genuinely an energy that I think is put out, and I think a band can tell, even if you're playing the most angriest, scariest stuff. You can tell if the people on the stage are having a good time, if they have chemistry with each other, and if they're able to connect with an audience, even if it's the most wildly violent sounding stuff. And I mean, you get the flip too. I mean, you could see sometimes a band playing something that sounds a little bit more friendly and they look absolutely miserable and
Yeah.
terrified
Yeah.
and scary. So, you know, that all comes with time. And another thing with like your bandmates and on the subject of being cautious about going back out, cautious about interacting with the community. Like so much good art comes from people that are naturally introverted, and there's so much extroversion that is required to kind of just get onto a show. And like that can really be a lot
Yeah.
for some people. It's a lot for me sometimes, you know. I still get weird feelings if I need to like play a show with new people I don't really know, or something logistical like, oh, I've never been to this venue before, and what's the load in like? Is the sound person gonna be a terror? Is you know, like all of these things that like you never know, but you kind of just have to put on your confidence kicks
Yeah.
and get out there and
Take
do
it.
the thing.
Yeah, I see exactly. I did. Yeah, I did that thing. I think in particular, we as a group, they like sometimes will prepare me for things, but I think they're nice enough to like not warn me about things I don't think to be worried about.
Sounding
So, like,
so patronizing. We don't
there's some-
patronize her.
No, they don't. They don't. But I don't think they think to like even warn me about like that potential thing because they're so used to it.
Sure.
So like, you know, I think the day before one of our like our show where we had traveled out of town, you know, like one of the bandmates pulled me aside and was like, hey, just so you know, sometimes like you go to a show and you play and there's no one like there. like, and I was like, what? You know, that had never even occurred to me.
And it
so,
still hasn't happened to her.
No, no,
I've, you know, when there's more people on stage than in the bar, that's a moment every musician I feel needs to have, and you'll get there.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
I'm sure I will get humbled accordingly. I mean, hopefully not soon, but I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's all part of the natural evolution of what we do. It's just wildly erratic at times, and so much of it is out of our control in terms of how much you can do to get other people to interact. Because you can be as prepared as you want to be. You can show up on time. You can restring your instruments, you know, get everything ready to go. But there's nothing that any of us can do to genuinely like be 100% sure that somebody's going to decide to spend their free time with us.
Right. Yeah.
That's up to them.
Yeah.
You got to just put it's up to the stars.
I just got to convince them I'm a party. We're a party of five. And I think that's kind of like the essence of Doll Trap. And like, even in the name, you know, it took us forever to come up with the name.
God,
oh
it
my
did.
gosh. I think it took like right before our show when someone was like, we need to get a show.
No one ever wants to say no to anyone else because we're all like letting each other have our own bailiwicks. But like when it comes to a consensus decision, like what's the band name going to be, we'll just keep saying it until everybody says yes to it. And that took so long of just like, what about this one? No one said no.
Yeah. And
no one said yes.
Yeah.
I think there was like an unspoken, like everyone had their own interpretation of like what like Doll Trap meant, which really works too, because we're also different, just in the same way, like we all have different interpretations in our music. And I think that that's why it works for us is, you know, there is, you go and you support everyone and, you know, there's like a face, but like when it comes down to it, like we're just going to trap you with the music. So you're going to come in and you're just going to hear the hook and be sung. That's how it's going to work.
Gotcha, punk.
And, you know, like I don't fear getting in front of a crowd. You know, I teach at like a really awesome middle school that is in a part of Pittsburgh that people would consider rough, but they're like the best kids in the world. And if I can hold their attention.
I was gonna say, a middle school audience, that's brutal.
Yeah. And like
that age.
Yep.
Yeah, you ever like two middle schoolers that just like look at you and whisper to each other? It's like devastating.
Yeah, but when I sing, they leave. So singing there is like torture to them.
Christina, you mentioned a musical theater background, correct? So were you like performing like in stage plays, or are you doing more like back of house type stuff? Or I think if you're in that world, you do everything, right?
Yeah.
That's how that typically works.
Yeah. I definitely got more into like the directorial thing.
Okay.
I'm not very good with my hands with like stage crew or anything like that. And tech, somehow being on stage is way less anxiety inducing than tech, because if you mess up the sound, everybody's messed up. But if I mess up a line in the song, someone might notice, so that was always really intimidating. I don't understand tech people and how they do it. My hats was off to all of them. But I think for the musical theater part of things, I was usually, I got typecasted as comedic relief a lot. So I did a lot of like acting, and then because comedic relief's not on the stage a lot, I would be like backstage moving really like heavy things, which has made me good with my load-in, skills now. So I'm not like that stereotypical singer. At least I'm like helping carry some things and during load-in, and
you
I'll
carried
sweat
both the
too.
tambourines.
I did. I did. They did let me play a tambourine. We all play instruments now.
So.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is our percussionist.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking about that background because I was curious if there were any unexpected parallels from performing in musical theater to performing with a live band that you've noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so much more intimate to be with a live band. There's literally a gap of the stage as well. And I think there's so much more preparation of the show and so many more hands on deck, especially at the scale of most of the things that I did. And somebody else wrote it. There's a vulnerable, if it was my own, I think the most connected I would say is like the directorial debut of something where it's like these choices I made of the something that you love might make you nervous. It'd be like the equivalent of like playing a cover wrong.
Sure, yeah.
Right. But I think what was really vulnerable is I'm writing lyrics that are super in like, hey, come and look into my life. I mean, I think anytime someone sings lyrics, somebody is going to assume in the audience that either you or someone in that band wrote them because you're experiencing it. I mean, people will write about things they're not experiencing, but that's, a vulnerable thing to do. And to have someone say they don't like my music or is in the back, like, just not engaged, it would be so much more hurtful than if someone comes out and was like, I really didn't like Oklahoma. The music sucks. So.
In my head, it was a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. I did that play. I hated that play. I wanted to apologize to people after it. It's like, well, I didn't write it. Yeah. Sondheim wrote it.
So luckily I don't hate any of my songs. There's obviously everyone I feel like has one where they're like, oh, okay. But other than that, I think we lucked out. We pretty much will. We'll at least tell people if we don't like the song, and we'll end working on it. We might not agree on song names or band names, but at least we can do that.
If anybody wants to do something, I've just been backing them up with it. That's how we ended up with that one, the one song that I thought was about Ringo.
Oh yeah. It's called Mass Gravy.
That's not what
I don't know.
None of us know the title of this song.
But we play it. So we're gonna figure it out one day.
It's really catchy.
Yeah, I have I've had the issue several times in the past playing in bands where every song will get like some sort of a working title that's always really silly, like Oreo tits. I don't know. And then it's like, we're calling this, it's like, then the song gets recorded or it gets a name, it gets recorded, and we're still like on the set list writing Oreo tits.
Yeah, that's why it says Mass Gravy on it. It was the era of mass grieving was the title Mark told us. We don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Because Christina wrote the words.
No, actually, that's the one he wrote.
Oh, did he write that one?
That is the one he has wrote. Yes, I looked through his book, and that was the least scary. And that is what he's a great guy, but he really leans into the heavy stuff. I am the reason we're not punk. I know I give off super punk vibes. But we can get into it. We scream. I will say the first songs that I wrote to with them, they had the stuff was pretty much done. They just didn't have lyrics or any type of melody. And so after the third or fourth time I had done that, and I realized they weren't changing the lyric, like the name of the song.
Oh yeah.
I was
yeah.
like, I think
multiple
I'm just gonna
songs where
start
titles just have
writing.
nothing to do with the lyrics.
So I was like, I have to just write. That's where Red Lemon came from. It was named Red Lemon. And I was like, I need to write about a fucking red lemon because I don't know if that's a fucking thing or not, but I need to look into it because they're not going to change the name. And I was tired of it not making sense. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of, it was the actual last song I wrote that they had given me, I think, a demo of 8 songs, and I wrote to them and we worked them out together later. But yeah, I just remember being really shocked by that.
That's a fun like prompt for like being like a creative prompt. Like, hey, you don't know what, I mean, even if you know what to write about, just like random song title, make it happen.
Yeah, no, and that's like, stuff I do with my students. So it just kind of felt familiar, like a free, a free association. And it was, I actually did not know a red lemon was real. Like I thought I had this great idea. I was like, oh yeah, if you bite into a red lemon, I bet it's like really bitter and red. And I said that to my bandmate. He's like, they're a thing. But it worked because they are. So at least the idea I had, they are.
I did actually go to Wikipedia.
Did you really? Okay. See, that makes me feel so much better. Yeah. So it's a real. I have never had one. I don't know where I would even get one.
I couldn't begin to imagine.
I looked at Trader Joe's actually.
I'm from a desert people. I have no idea. Though that is where we grow all the citrus.
Fair enough. But I think since Donna's joined, we've written two together. Were you with us for Under the Bridge?
No, I wasn't there for that one.
So just the most recent one.
The ones that have weren't finished when I got Saint, Gravy Boat, whatever. Unwind. There's at least one more.
Yeah, so conceptually, thinking of that, I'm interested to see if we can even see the difference of our songs without Dawn helping compose. Versus,
we need to record more, is what I'm hearing. In my voice. We're working on it next. As soon as you're going on vacation, as soon as you're out, we're gonna lay down some drum tracks, which I'm looking forward to.
And we're spoiled because Dawn does all that.
Yeah,
literally all that. I don't know how.
Cool. Yeah, I was just about to ask what your kind of more about what your current songwriting, demoing process is like, even up to recording.
I like that this band doesn't rush straight into the studio, because for the longest time, it's so easy today to just go straight to a studio because they're so easy to access. But this band actually properly jams out a song for a while, and that's where, for me, is specifically on bass, any interesting line I come up with on bass isn't until I've played the song a good 100 times and gotten bored with the first few things I've written. So I'm glad that we've just jammed the songs over and over twice a week, run through the whole set list, try every new song, whole set list, try every new song, see in 2 days or whatever. But I couldn't ever hear Christina because they play very, very loud. First time in a long time, I've been in a tiny room with a drum set and several tube amps. So I wanted to record the songs so I could hear them and figure out some vocal harmonies and stuff. So we just laid down everything we had one day, recorded it, all the drums straight in a row with the guys playing live in the room. And then they came back and redid their parts later. Super quick and dirty. 4 of them, we were these are good enough to put out as a demo. And that's what we have out right now on streaming.
It's called In the Weeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it sure felt like that, trying to mix that.
Yeah, probably.
It's been a while. But yeah, now that I've gotten a better handle on how the band works and plays together, and we've jammed out a few new songs, I'm actually have a vision for how we're going to record these ones instead of just, we'll set up mics and see what happens.
Yeah.
Recording is so different. That is something I had never done. And so when we recorded a bunch and...
Yeah, me being all right, sing, vocal layering to all right, just sing every other word. I know it sounds weird to say that, but you'll like that. Or just sing the 4th word.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, vocal production.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even, she mentioned earlier, the concept of layering. I had ideas for what I wanted to be sung under and the harmonies, but I didn't even know about voice doubling. I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh yeah, that's a choir of like Madonna singing. Like
Yeah.
there's
I
not
say,
that,
like,
that makes sense that there's a bunch of layered on top of each other. But I didn't
active
realize.
listening to
Yeah.
like other people's music, you can tell like they layer their voice doing the exact same thing when they want thickness, and then they'll like pull back to a single voice when you want intimacy. And so it's like teaching her like, all right, which of these lines do you want to be like between you and the other person, and which of these do you want to be more powerful statements, and we can like approach it artistically.
Mm-hmm. With intention.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is my favorite part. You know, I'm in English too. Like, you know, I like the concept art, which is so funny because sometimes I'll be like, "Hey guys, do you see these lyrics?" And they're like, "Yeah," and they're always so. After they actually hear it through the recording, they're always so like appreciative and kind about
Oh
it.
yeah, that was good.
But it's interesting, like the way we all hear music differently, and when we record, and like pulling different things out and hearing the mixes has all like how just a mix can completely change a song is so interesting to me. And just recording, the hardest part I think about recording is you can't move. Yeah, I'm just like standing there, so it's such a different feeling, and you're like in a room screaming.
Stop playing with
me.
your keys.
Yeah, and it's not like you don't have energy, and I think that's my favorite part, and that is the parallel, like at least that I don't think rush, and also part of it is like
we were rushing too much last time. Next time we'll like properly get you in the zone. We'll get some mood lighting going. We'll jump up and down. We were just in a rush.
Yeah,
get ready. I just think in general, hearing my voice back for the first time and then being like, all right, keep
what
going.
Your self-esteem, right?
No, I was
You liked it?
I didn't mind
good
it.
For you. I'm so happy.
No, I will say it was a good experience because and then Dawn took out the distortion.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, fuck. That's what that sounds like. So it was very, that was a tough feeling when I was like, oh, these are effects making me sound better and different
They're
things.
not.
Like, here and there.
I mean,
we tried different ones.
Yeah.
Some of them were different, like the echo effects and stuff like that were interesting.
A lot of people put like it's distortion. I had some saturation on her voice to thicken it up. Like as soon as you pull out the saturation, the voice sounds thin. But like that's basic production. Most people have that on their voice.
Well, it made me sound nice.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes,
Dawn
absolutely.
made the whole thing sound good.
Yeah, there's all of these things that have been invented by audio people have been used for a reason. A dry vocal take is brutal. It's always brutal. I mean, a dry anything take, you know, like you listen to, you can mic up a kit and be like, wow, this doesn't sound very good. But it's like, yeah, you got to put some juice on it.
Yeah, right. That's
why you're like individually mic every little thing is so you can give it that studio pizzazz.
Yeah, just watching that happen was like astounding. I was like, there are like 5 mics on that drum.
Yeah. Well, and I'm trying. Oh, there was more than that. We're going to do less. I'm honestly doing less because I realized like the strength of this band is in kind of that more 90s sound. So like you pull back the drums and do like a 5 mic setup on it next time instead of the 8 mics I had last time. And yeah, I'm like, because we didn't record Do a Click last time. We're not going to do it next time. It felt like recording on tape the way I was doing it and trying to mix it. Because anytime I tried to like actually put some modern production into it, I broke the mix immediately. I'm like, oh, maybe we don't do that in this band. Maybe we just like embrace the 90s sound.
Yeah. I mean, for me, whenever I'm approaching a new project from a recording standpoint, it's like I have to like think in my head, like, what is the most important focus of this particular project? So we'll say, for example, with your band, if I was to be told if I was going to record a band in the style of Doll Trap, it's like, okay, this is a guitar forward band. So I'm like, okay, well, how do we want to record the guitars? You know, we're going to mic the cabs. What's the sound going to be like? And then I'm going to mic every single thing else in a way to fit around that sound versus being like, I'm supposed to do drums this way and I'm supposed to do guitar this way. And then
that's what I realized.
It all sounds totally different. Doesn't mix.
I finally have come to a point where I'm okay with the music we put out there. I hated the mix when we finally put it out, but like it started to sound okay when I realized like, oh, let's mono out the drums a little bit and let the guitars be the super wide thing. And that's why moving forward, I'm like, okay, more mono with the drums and let the guitars be way out on the side.
The stuff that's on your Bandcamp was produced by you?
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Thank you. I did it with earbuds because I don't have my studio set up because I'm still renting. I'm gonna buy very soon and actually build myself a room for monitoring.
Hell yeah. I think it sounds great for the genre that you're doing. I was actually, when you had briefly mentioned before that it was self-produced, I was like, wow.
Oh, thanks. Because I did that in an attic.
I didn't read it in like the liner notes or anything, but I was just like, oh, this is a well put together, 3 or 4 song demo, right? And yeah, great, good job.
Wow, thank you.
Hey, no, thank you.
And that's what I mean by like our different strengths too. Like, I mean that they wrote a lot of the bass lines for. I actually think all 4 of them are like their crutch, like their song essentially. And with like the lyrics and then the mixing, we still all claim this ownership over it and performing it together because we've all had a hand in like bringing it to life in that sense. And so it's nice. Yeah. I mean, we got like, it's just, we're all so really different, but at least we don't argue over our music like that. Like if we all like, that's Dawn's thing. Like if Dawn, thank you. We appreciate you. And
I've made some real wild choices occasionally and nobody says anything to me about them. So I just keep doing them. Like, are we all cool with this? I just go into a whole tone scale for a minute. Everyone's fine? All right, cool. Just keep doing that, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of like see what we can get away with until it's too much.
Yeah, until like somebody finally turns in band practice. So like, all right, maybe we pull that back a little bit.
Yeah, I think that it's so important that if you are in a situation where you are creating music with other people, that you trust the other people in the space. You trust them, obviously, from just a general social standpoint, like you're nice people to be around.
Oh, I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw.
But creatively, I think it's really important to trust other people. And if somebody, it's like, hey, like, Dawn, you're the bass player in my band because I think you're a talented bass player. And if you have an idea for something, please throw it out there because, even though maybe me as a guitar player, I wrote the basic ideas of this. It's like I'm bringing somebody on board because I trust them and I'm hoping that they'll give it a little bit of their own personality.
Definitely.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Whenever I wrote and recorded my own music while I was away in the desert and doing all the parts myself, like my bass lines are always just so boring when I write the song. But when someone else writes the song, then I get to like have fun and play with it. And I think like, Paul McCartney was always kind of the same way. Like you listen to him playing bass on the songs he wrote and it's very straightforward. And then like, oh, John wrote this one. So the bass line's all over the place.
Yeah, maybe there's something about just having an unfamiliar framework to play in. So you feel a little bit more loose.
Yeah.
And also too, maybe you're not as distracted because if you are trying to assume the roles of writing every single nuance of the rhythm chord melody and the drums and the bass and the vocals, like your attention's kind of getting divided like a pie chart into all these different things. Whereas it's like all you're worried about is the bass.
Yeah.
So you put 100% into that and you get a little freaky.
I love not having to be in charge of everything. It makes me so happy.
Although I can't even say that because I make Dawn sing the harmonies.
Yeah.
So
I make you write the harmonies.
I do, yeah. Dawn gets lots of beautiful, like, alto harmonies.
Yeah, the alto part where it's just one note over and over and over. I thank God. Thank you for making it easy. Like singing and playing at the same time, I've never been great at. So if it's just one note, like I can keep track of that.
Yeah. No, I think that's one of the things I learned as well. It's like we've been trying to like start incorporating a synth here and there. Because Dawn and I are bossy, but it's like I'm literally just trying to do 2 different things and sing at the same time, and then you just trip over your own fingers. Like this clearly takes so much practice, so much dedication. So you get so much more of an appreciation. And like as far as what we want to do with like Doll Trap, like currently beyond like record new music and stuff, it's like I want to, like make sure people know that they don't have to be in the music scene to come be a part of the music scene. Like you don't have to be someone in the band scene to come out to one of these shows. Like you are welcome. And that was something I had to learn was that like everybody's welcome into a space. Like you don't have to be invited by someone there that you know. And like the minute we walked in, I mean, people talked to us, like they came up to us. And I think knowing that sometimes people just need to explicitly be told that, like, hey, if you go to this place, you will feel comfortable. Like, just knowing and having that comfort, especially for, the Gen Z
Most
in
people
general.
are just looking for permission to have a good time. And if you go in and give them that permission with you, you'll have a great time together.
Yeah, I think there's this weird dramatization and romanticizing of like underground music culture that's been distilled through various forms of like pop culture and media throughout the years that makes it seem like it's this really romantic exclusive thing. And like in like a small way it is, but you need to replace the exclusive word with inclusive, because it is very much a space for anybody that wants to be a part of it. I mean, most of the people that are involved in it tend to be, again, second time using this word today, but introverted and maybe not the best at being like, hey, come to my party. So you get a bunch of people that are kind of all like wallflower-esque, but you connect over a mutual love of art and culture, and you start to open up to each other and you start to feel comfortable in these safe spaces. But if you've never been there before, it can be really intimidating. I remember being like, 13 years old and going to my first little DIY show at the fire hall, and all the high school bands were playing and like feeling like I did not belong there. Like, what did I think was going to happen? I don't know. They're going to like, give me a swirly in the toilet or something, like, you little booger, but it didn't happen, but
we talked about this on the way over here, like imposter syndrome, like the idea of like me not wanting to join. Like, it took me so long to get to this place because I was like, I feel like, who am I? And that's why, like, really, the time where I decided, as I saw again, like Feeble Little Horses singer, like went to the same college as me, and I was like, oh, she's a human like me. Like, Lydia is a human like me. So like naturally, maybe like I can be and not, as even successful, but just like, dude, like, get up and fun. Sure. And I said that to Dawn and like thought it was like profound. And Dawn is like, what the hell are you talking about? Everyone still thinks they're an imposter on stage. Like, we're all pretending.
Yeah, she tells me, I was like, well, and then nobody thinks they're an imposter. I'm like, no, that's backwards. Everybody thinks they're an imposter. The trick is to get up there and not say that on stage.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's nice now is like, and those are the people that inspired me, is that they're writing about like they still stay so humble. And like, Dawn even just reminded me right now, like, I'll say things like, oh, I'm not really a musician, I don't write it. But it is, you have to be musical to write lyrics to a song and them not sound like trash.
I don't think a musician, making music is a human thing. Humans do that, usually to attract a mate. Yeah. Like, it's a human behavior. We all make music. We're all artists and musicians in that way. And like, I don't think there's any way of like any real good reason to like gatekeep what is properly writing a song and what's just whistling a tune. Like,
I think that there is a very, very broad line between like being a musician and being like a prodigy or a virtuoso or something like that. Like,
I've known those people. They're amazing. But
yeah, that's great. But also too, I mean, it goes back to like, I remember one of the first times that this started to really come up in my life was, child of the 90s, Nirvana. And I remember like my guitar player friends in like middle school and high school would always kind of shit on like, those songs are easy to play. And it's like, but you didn't fucking write them. That's the thing, is like being able to come up with something that connects and kickstarts an entire generation.
Yeah.
I don't care how easy it is to play. There's a more nuanced conversation to have.
I came at that the absolute other way around. I remember coming to my friends with a Misfits album and like a Ramones album, like, guys, listen to this. It's so easy to play. We could do it. And we did. Like, I remember singing like Sex Pistols, like 13 years old in my garage. I am an like, didn't need a microphone. You just yell that one. It's fine.
Of course. Yeah, but there's just a lot of I think it's the imposter syndrome thing is something that I certainly relate with. A lot of the time, like me doing like a podcast, it's like a great white guy doing a podcast. We definitely need more of this fucking shit, right? And it's like, who the fuck do I think I am? But doing this, but it's like, I like doing this and I get to meet so many great people, and it's like, that's why I do this.
And honestly, I've been like listening to back catalog because I just moved to this town, and like it's been fun of like, oh, Death Comes Lifting. I've been there, and
Oh
like
yeah.
going back over it, like learning about the scene and people that contribute to it, and all of the resources available to people working and trying to help each other just because they like having a good scene. Like I'm grateful for this show, so thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thanks for being nice to me. You know, I think that in the long run, I think I feel much more comfortable being around people that have a little bit of imposter syndrome rather than somebody that is just like, yeah, I deserve to be here all the time, and
Those
I'm
people
great.
are weird,
Like,
right? People that
Yeah.
actually come in with like full ego. I think that's so rare, but occasionally there's just that one person that's
Well, it's
so
rock
sure.
and roll. There's always a little bit
Well,
too
and
much
I've
ego.
heard, yeah, and I
I
heard there's like
mean,
stereotypes, right?
It's
Like,
a healthy balance. You need some
Yeah.
ego for it to work.
Yeah, no, I'm used to the ego usually coming in like hurt feelings, not necessarily somebody that comes in and assumes they have their way.
Uh-huh.
like no one coming to your show. That would work. That would hurt your ego.
It's real humbling.
Yeah. No.
Took a
Right.
while before I realized you have to put on a show that people want to come
Okay.
to for people to want to come to your show.
Yeah. No, I
and,
feel that.
and also sometimes too, it just doesn't work
Oh yeah.
for no
Yeah.
good reason.
Oh,
You
Or
know?
so like somebody just called and put you on a bill. Like I've had, like just we throw you on a bill and then you get there and you're playing to, two people, and then completely opposite. We threw you on a bill and you get there and it's like a house party and it's packed and it's the best show you've played all year, and like it's whatever may come, I guess.
That's been one of the answers that everyone gives me when we're talking to people, like what is like their favorite show to play, and they'll say like honestly it's the ones you're not expecting. Like it's not the show you're usually most excited for. It's like everyone's just really excited about something and you're there and they feed off your energy, or they are excited to see you guys and they're there and they feed off your energy. But I think that's always an it's made us be more flexible or willing to like consider what a venue is, right? And that's been something we've seen with all the music festivals, because we've been kind of going around like what can be a venue. We were at like the Northside Music Festival and they made a laundromat a venue. It's like that's
rad.
amazing. And the record stores and just different things like that. Like DIY has gotten so much more than just like that basement, that with the Pittsburgh potty in the corner, which is still super hard, and I love that. It goes tough and always will. But it's fun to feel like you can experience it in like different places as well.
Yeah, I think that the expectations that you could put on yourself as an artist sometimes can be very like paralyzing. The double-edged sword of the creative mind is that not only are you able to come up with cool songs or tell cool stories, but you could also easily imagine the worst possible case scenario, or put like this level of pressure on something that you're really looking forward to, set the expectations so high that you're never going to meet it, and then you're perpetually disappointed. So whenever that happens, it sucks. It really, really sucks. But that's why it's really great to just kind of have those shows where you're not expecting it, because you're not painting this picture of what something could be or what something should be. You're just like, I'm just going to show up. And if there's 10 people there, great. If there's 100 people, cool. I don't know. I didn't spend all day stressing out about this. I'm just going to enjoy this evening that I get to have around friends and community, where, I could be myself at my full, uncensored, unrestrained, just, being around other people that want to do this too and take part in it. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
I definitely take advantage of your efforts to just be the show idiot. Like, just give me a time and a location, and I'm gonna show up, I'm play our set, and I'm gonna have a great time. I'm not gonna think about the venue. I'm not gonna think about the load in. Like, did you guys check the back line? Am I good? Cool. And we all have our own different things. I'm like, I'll worry about the recording and like the graphic design. You guys do all of the shows, and I'm just gonna show up and have fun. And I'm so blessed.
Yeah, I definitely do. I enjoy the networking part of it a lot. And that is where the extroversion comes in, I think. But also just you meet so many different people. Like there is no stereotype to a musician. Like you think there would be, but then you meet like a group like us and you're like, okay, you're all in 100 different stages of your life, which is really unique. I think the thing that has been extra nice about being prepared for like kind of what to expect and then also not prepared for certain things is the internet exists in a way now that I'm not sure. Like I could literally just go on to Instagram and look at the venue in ways that I'm sure like back in like when you're touring, even like
for sure.
like you just like wouldn't even have a concept of actually where the hell you're going. So like when that guy doesn't answer your phone call or whatever about load-in, like you don't have to lug everything for nothing. But it has been nice and even like as I think sometimes we have as imposters, like you would like change the way you're talking to someone over text, but no, I'm sending heart emojis and like lots of exclamation points because I know when these people meet me in real life, I'm excited. That's how I perform. That's just the way I am. And so no one's, at least to my face or over message, been rude about it. They're like receptive to the vibe and the enthusiasm.
I think maybe I'm in a fortunate position. Dawn, please feel free to piggyback off of this because you also have experience of working with so many different people over the years. I will say that I feel fortunate that I feel that the large majority of the people that I've met in any realm of an underground music scene have been genuinely pretty good people that have been like nice and easy to work with. Have there been assholes? Absolutely. Have there been monsters? Absolutely, unfortunately. But for the most part, I'd say the overwhelming majority have been people that are in it for the same reason that I am. And it's really easy to connect with them and just like make something cool happen. I don't know where you're at with that, Don.
Well, being 73 billion years old, which is 1 billion higher than we said last time I kept count.
Well, we've been talking for 1 billion years, so time only moves forward.
No, actually, I had some rough experiences.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
I mean, well, Phoenix, like, this was a very interesting time in the internet where we had our Gamergate moment happen.
Okay.
And I noticed all of the groups I'm in, like, people's opinions started getting a little more interesting, a little spicier. People started having weirder tattoos.
I think that I also need to like certainly like check myself from the perspective of like, hey, white guy in a music scene. Of course, things are probably a little bit easier for me in terms of different people from different backgrounds. Of course, it's maybe going to be a little bit more tense.
We have had to like have a conversation of like, who should we send? Which is never a fun conversation to have. And for different reasons, right? Like, all right, are we using our, like, what are we using? What strength do we need here? But also, like, is this a weakness? That's not your fault. And so we don't want to put anyone in, like, as a woman in the scene in particular, I think we've gotten nice and amazing feedback, but the most supportive other people are the other, like, women. And like in general, I think it's like because you see there's that kinship. They're just automatically there of like you're doing thing and I am, and that's great. But there's only been one instance I can think of, and obviously there's limited instances. But meeting bands, we've met a lot of bands and versus playing, but like where the guys in the band have walked up to every single one of the bandmates and I'm like, hey, and like they'll introduce me, but they don't, and I just can't tell if it's like we don't feel comfortable like because of that introversion, like shaking your hand. Or if it's more just, you know, the female thing. But in general, I think that was actually, there's some hesitation there to get involved in as like, well, you know, you're going to a house with 3 guys in general, but they really do such a good job of making us feel welcome, giving us platforms, like walking us through different things and asking questions. But it is tough to have those conversations of like, is this a venue that we should send you to network at? Or is this a venue we should send someone else?
I mean, I had to have a real conversation when I joined the band of just like we played, the music was good. We didn't talk about things. I eventually did have to have that conversation like, hey, are we good? Like there's a few things that me joining your band implies and you have to be okay with those things. And I just want to get an actual out loud, are we good? And yes, we are. But
of course,
I don't know. I come from a pretty conservative area.
Yeah.
Like it's Pittsburgh's amazing. I'm a big fan of the city. It's like the bar was low, but it didn't have to be apparently, because it's just soared way over my expectations in this scene. Like,
Yeah, the scene here is very, very inclusive and welcoming to any sort of, social background, identity, whatever. It's awesome. And you meet, I think that's another part of the reason why the scene here is so vibrant, is that it's like open arms for people of so many different backgrounds to tell their stories without hesitation or without resistance. It's great. You meet so many different people and get to see so many different things and get so many different perspectives on things. And it's fun. I mean, I just get to meet so many different people doing this show, even outside of just like any of the more like social political type stuff, just getting to meet different people in different little bubbles of music scenes that I would have no idea exist if they hadn't sent me an email and been like, hey, can I come on the show? And it's like, yeah, of course. I want to meet new people. Like, I get way more excited when people I don't know hit me up than people that I do know.
No, I think that's the equivalent. I think that's been something exciting too, realizing that it's generational too. It's not just like younger. Like, I thought I was going to be going to Oakland every weekend, which I'm fine with that as well. I mean, there's really awesome things going on in Oakland right now in the music scene. But I think, there's always the question of like, truly, is everyone welcome? And you look at a show, there's like, if it's all ages, there's like maybe like a toddler in the background and around, and then there's, somebody's grandma came in the front. So it's just, I think that's been really nice too, is that there seems to be like an extra mile to make venues inclusive. Like, we've seen, people come out like, I might butcher their name, but like Punk Rock Saves Lives and like groups like that, like shows, like there's been so many shows and benefits for people like mental health and, just all the different political things going on, and like, benefit shows. And those, like, now even just having to find 3 bands, because that was my task to play with us on the Poetry Lounge coming up, I was like, this is hard. I thought people wanted to play, and they do, but there's like, everyone's people busy. Have bands and lives, and they're nice, and they follow you, and they will come to your shows. But the reality is, I'm like thinking to myself, oh, people have to do this for like a living and book tons of people, and this is hard. Like, this kind of stuff I understand now, like, burn you out. So it's nice that there's a bunch of different ages and a bunch of different people involved, and promoters and venues where like you don't get quite the feel of the burnout that I thought might happen.
Give it a little time.
I know. I know. I'm starting to feel that. No. I've been told I'm like painfully optimistic. I've been told I'm like Leslie Knope, which is like such an insult to anybody who has seen that show. But also like, whatever. I hear that. I hear what they're saying.
I specifically said Zoe Deschanel, not Leslie Knope.
So, okay, I'll take that too.
So you get a little sing-songy if you've had a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
Very cute.
I do. Yeah, okay. That's the musician in me.
So you mentioned a show at Poetry. Is this something that's coming up?
Yeah, that's on August 14th. So that'll be like the first show we like put together and didn't just get to like hop on. I think it's just a rad venue, of course. But we have a Break Fluid coming in from Youngstown, and then we just secured a Frame of Mantle. And I say that was secured because, like, thank you. You just heard how hard it was, and people, like I said, they were very responsive, but everyone was just booked. And so we're really excited. It'll be a fun
so
night.
many posters.
Yeah, no, because we would have bands agree that, and then be like, well, my drummer actually. And that was so crazy to me because I remember like saying no to our first thing. Like, someone hit us up literally the day before. And I was like, we have to do this. We have to go. And they were like, you're on vacation.
No, you gotta pick your shows. Like, you have to pick your battle. Like,
so I get that. Yeah.
One of the first things I said when joining is like, all right, we're gonna play once a month max, kind of. Like, unless we have a good reason to play more than once a month, we're gonna play once a month, because like,
even
we need to be able.
Honestly.
That's a lot. That's ambitious, but like, to be able to get people out, to get them to give you more than once a month is ridiculous. Like,
I feel like when you're starting out, it can be productive to play out more just for the networking perspective of it.
Yeah,
and if you're able to get onto some lineups where the pressure for you to bring people isn't so intense. It's more or less the other bands are booking the show. They're working on getting the people out, and they're just trying to help kind of signal boost you being a new presence in the scene. Take advantage of those shows, but like booking shows for yourself every month where you're the sole.
Oh yeah, no, we're not
promoter,
going to do that.
There's
Oh,
no
goodness.
way.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a bit of a control person. I enjoy booking a show. I like being able to curate a night,
Yeah.
but it's always such. It's always such a It's just like
It's
very very
literally
stressful.
a production.
It's
You're
very, very
producing.
stressful. Yeah.
Well, and it's difficult without certain knowledge too, because like I consider directing and like that function of mine to be a skill, but then we're playing telephone because they're like, so what are we bringing? And breakables, and then I'm like turning to my guitarist. I'm like, what the fuck?
What
are
does breakables mean? Yeah.
And then I'm like turning, and so
Uh-huh.
we're getting a lot better with that, but it is helpful once I probably know a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, once you've done 2 or 3 places, you see what's kind of the standard and what to expect where. If you're lucky, they'll tell you where the power outlets are.
yeah. And at least, like at least I was able to scope out, and I'm a big patron of Poetry Lounge. But I mean, we did agree to 2 shows in July because our drummer's birthday is on
That's
the
true,
25th.
yeah.
So we have a
We
show
had
coming
to.
up. It's a cool lineup. And it was one of those opportunities we were able to just kind of jump on and, take advantage of a promoter doing all that hard work. But we do think
It's his birthday. We got it.
we had to, yeah. We're gonna sing happy birthday for him and everything. But other than that, I think after August we'll have to take a little break and probably just start recording. Kind of that's like our plan for a little bit. And I know we are really down for a Halloween show. So if there's
We better.
is this coming out before Halloween?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, we are really down. Where should I look?
I am turning
For a
40
Halloween
on
show.
Halloween. We better.
Yeah, that's
We
please.
better.
So that's my goal. That has always been a dream. Those are the best things. I'd be stoked. So I think that's Dolltrap's plan. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we better. I'm inviting people in from like Nevada and Arizona and California. Like, we better.
All right, well, someone's going to hear our plea and they're going to come running. So luckily it'll work out for us.
Heck yeah. So as our choo-choo train here rounds the station, is there anything else that we want to promote or talk about, or any hot takes on fast food we want to drop before we end the episode?
I don't think so. I just think we just appreciate everyone's love and like the Pittsburgh scene's love. And in general, like, if you are someone that is afraid to go to a show and like messaging the band and you're like, I want to go see Dolltrap, and messaging me and telling me what you're wearing and like will help you so I can come say hi to you, like I'll do that. And so just anybody should feel like they are welcome, even if they are not punk looking or whatever in any space. And I think Dawn and I feel that in Pittsburgh, and as to like people that, are newer to the scene here. And so I hope other people that might be newer or kind of like seeing through the podcast feel like inspired to maybe do that and get out there and go to the shows.
Yeah. Just, I don't know. Whenever we have a show coming up, think to yourself, you could stay home, or it could be the night you didn't stay home.
Yeah. I always say, like, it's so easy even for people that are a part of, like, active members of the local music scene, whether they're a musician or just somebody that goes out to shows. It's not uncommon to be like, oh, nothing's going on. It's like, what do you mean there's 6 shows?
Oh,
and it's like, well, I don't know any of those bands that are playing. And it's like, that's why you should go.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Go
why
find
you should
someone.
go. Go find something new.
I always say, like, your
keep it
favorite
going.
band should be a local band. Like, that's
Yeah.
recorded music is a recent thing in human history. It used to be your favorite band lived in your town. And
Yeah.
I like think that should be how it works.
Yeah, shout out to Pittsburgh Music Tracker. Fucking amazing. So
Absolutely. Yes. Well, I think that's about it. I'm feeling pretty good. This was a great hour. It's so great to meet both of you.
Thank you.
you so much for hitting me up to come on the
yeah,
show.
thanks for having us.
Because again, like, I would not give you a name that I'm unaware of. So I appreciate you initiating that
Yeah,
conversation.
no problem. It's nice to be online and be present as a Gen Z and someone be receptive to like a cold call or cold email. It's
Yeah.
like busy at night under my covers with the texting. So I appreciate your response and being receptive to
Of
it.
course.
It was a great time. Thank you.
It was great to meet both of you. I'm gonna do my little fanciful outro here. Okay. All right. And that's all, folks. Thanks so much for being here. One more time. Doll Trap, thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much.
We did it.
I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Brian Sykes-House. Start the Beat is the podcast. 2025 is the year. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people around you. Peace out. We did it. That was a podcast.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Oh my goodness. Look at all your buttons.